very good morning to Kenyan citizens. Welcome, and this is the Current Affairs segment, your trusted source for the latest news, insightful discussions, and impactful stories shaping our nation and beyond. I'm Angela Kabete, and today we're going to make sure that you stay updated of what is happening. So make sure that you stay tuned, and also you can get to interact with us on our social media handles. That is on 0799 200 100. Utuambie unatazama ukiwa pande gani. I'll be so happy to hear from you. And before anything else, it is always our norm to give you the verse of the day and encouragement for you as our viewer. And today's verse comes from, that is Jeremiah 29:11, and this is what it says: "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." It's a very good verse, you know, especially being in the morning. Inaanza kwa kusema that, for I know the plans I have for you. And, it means that God is very intentional about our lives. We as Christians, we as believers, every time that life feels confusing, you don't know what to do, it feels painful, the desperate moments that we get as day-to-day people as Christians, it means that, if that God is not a random person. He already knows the direction or the path that your life is supposed to take. So, kazi kwako, to make sure that each and everything that you do, you get to consult God. And it means that, in the text, if I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper. It means that His plans are good. His plans are not destructive. It means that God's intentions for our own lives is for growth and for good. And God promises that is a hope and a future. And when it talks about that is hope and future, he talks about that is restoration. We see those difficult moments that you've gone through, just like Job. God restored everything because he trusted in God. So it means that even for God to get a point of restoring something in your life, it means that there is hope, there is faith, and that's how we're supposed to live as Christians and as believers. And it means that even the difficult seasons that we go through, they do not cancel God's plans, because most of the times tunajikuta tunasema ama Mungu amenisahau, ama Mungu ameachana na hii kitu. But the difficult seasons do not cancel God's plan that He has for us. And sometimes the waiting season itself can be part of God's deeper plan to us as believers. And for us this verse is bringing that aspect here. Need to trust in God even when you don't understand the season. Keep believing that our future is not defined by the current struggle. Make sure that you get to stay faithful, because God is still working behind the scenes. Even when it feels like it's not working, trust me, He's doing something. Trust me that God is always at work. And that is the verse of the day. And now that our spirits are refreshed, we feel encouraged, we feel motivated. Now let's look at the state of our nation, at the state of our country, because a lot has been happening, and it is our responsibility, as I said, to making sure that you as a Kenyan citizen pale nje is stay updated of what is happening that is in our country and beyond. I have the Daily Nation with me and the Standard as well. And we'll start with the Daily Nation. Some of the things that tutakuwa tuangalia, as I said, we're checking the state of our nation. Tutaangalia matters to do with the economy and finance, that is specifically spending, and I'll be checking out politics. Tutaangalia health sector, and then tutaangalia that is matters to do with the education. We're talking about that is matters to do with legal and crime. And then on the Standard, tutakuwa tutaangalia pia matters to do with legal and crime, and pia tutaangalia matters to do with I think page 7 it's seen something. Tutaangalia that is matters to do with human and political interest, that is page 6 and 7 of the Standard. So we'll start with the Daily Nation, and That is, we'll start with the main headline of what is happening. That is State House. The main headline reads, runaway. This year's spending by the president's office is the highest. And now they should come out clear when they talk about spending. Are they spending accountably, or is it about mismanagement of fund? You know, the term spending is kind of ambiguous, and so it reads that State House budget doubles to 17 billion. Okay, we're talking about that is 17 billion. And you know, State House of Nairobi is the residence and the office of the president in Kenya. And its budget covers that is staff salaries, security operations, hospitality for visiting, that is dignitaries, official travel and administration, maintenance, and state lodges across Kenya. And historically, the State House budget has been much lower historically, and over the past decade it has gradually increased due to, we can say that is more government operations are run from State House, also increased that is travel and diplomacy, security and logistic cost. However, the constitution requires parliament to approve that is the public spending, meaning if the parliament needs to approve that is the public spending, even if they're saying that the State House budget has doubled, it means that this is something that was approved by the members of parliament. And there is also that is a constitutional clause allowing emergency spending by the executive office before parliamentary approval. So if let's say, for example, parliament will approve, and then we have that is the aspect of emergency funding, which emergency spending, and probably that's why that is the executive, they decided kutumia pesa before that is parliamentary approval. Now we'll get, even as the members of parliament are being questioned as to why they approved this spending, watasema sio wao. And in addition to that, there is a key figure, that is what I have mentioned, the total spending 17 billion, that is the total spending, following an increment of 8.4 billion. And the amount is shilling billion. There is a statement here that reads, that is from the parliamentary budget office expert. Alisema, we need an amendment to the Public Finance Management Act to provide clarity on expenditures under the Article 223 of the Constitution. As currently structured, the National Treasury will continue to abuse the Constitution, and we may be discredited budget regime. That is a statement from the Parliamentary Budget Office expert. And then nikiangalia hapa, they have given us they've given numbers on budget spending when it comes to State House. Since 2013, kuna 2013 ilikuwa 4.9, and then and 2014 ilikuwa 6.6, tukaenda hivyo tukiteremka. Then we had that is 2017, the original budget was 3.6 billion, ikaenda ikipanda. In the year 2020 ikaenda 8.0, and now we have that is 2025-2026 16.99. And there's a statement here, bloated. The State House budget for the current financial year has doubled to 17 billion, following an addition of 8 billion media allocation under the constitutional clause reserved for emergency spending without prior approval of the National Assembly. And analysts at the parliamentary budget warn the provision is routinely exploited by the government to allocate for expenditures that otherwise not be classified as unforeseen. And this is what is happening when it comes to the spending of the State House. And it means that the actual spending at the State House has consistently been higher than the original budget allocation in the several years. And according to them, this is a trend that has been increasing, that is over time. And that story has been highlighted on page 4 and 5. Let's check it out. And I would want to hear from you as a Kenyan citizen. You know, tunasema hakuna pesa, that is in our country, don't have money. You know, we have seen even the president akisema they're going to borrow. That's from other countries. So are we borrowing desks so that we can get to service such kind of things? Well, the aspect of accountability, who is keeping them in check? As I have read here, it is that the National Assembly had not approved this. And we are on page 4 and 5. And I'll start by a statement from that is the control of budget. Dr. Margaret Nyakango, she said, whereas this reflected efficient budget execution, it also presented a risk of budget depletion before the end of the financial year 2025-2026 inafaa kuisha, that is June, leading to the budget non-credibility. That is a statement from Margaret Nyakango, the controller of budget. So I don't know where we're heading as a country when it comes to matters to do with spending. And funny enough, they have violated state house spending compare with other countries. And funny enough, our country is leading when it comes to spending a state house. So this is very funny. If you would compare the countries that we're being compared with, hata Tanzania wenyewe wako chini. That is wako 1.7. So I don't know if you'd compare the development, because I've said we are leading when it comes to that is state house spending. Now if you would compare development between our country and other countries that we have been compared with na state house spending zao ziko chini, there is something that needs to be done, because ukiangalia Germany on that is 7%, South Africa 7.8%, and so it means that something needs to be done, and the status itself need to come out clear, especially the executive, and explain to Kenyan citizens what is happening, because in a letter great impact when it comes to that is public and accountability concerns. And here it may rise that is a political debate, because opposition, even if we don't have a strong opposition right now, opposition leaders and analysts will question whether it is necessary that amount, or it is excessive. And when it comes to that is the budget pressure. You know, Kenya already faces that is a high public debt, tax increases, and economic pressure on citizens. So it means that large spending may increase, that is a public frustration. So something needs to be done about it. And away from the state of spending, let's check out something else. And this is frustrating. As we say, the state house is spending that is 17 billion when it comes to the health sector. Things are not good at all. And cancer patients turn away as Kenyatta National Hospital machine breaks down. And you know that is Kenyatta National Hospital is the largest referral hospital, and it treats that is cancer patient emergency cases and specialized diseases, especially cancer itself. And they offer things like radiotherapy machines. Unajua ziko few that is in our country, and that's unapata that is patients number are very high. And now the current situation, the radiotherapy machine that used to treat cancer patients has broken down. So are they going to buy a new one, or are they waiting for Kenya citizens, brothers and sisters out there to lose their lives? Something needs to be done about it, and that story is on page 1 of the Daily Nation. It has been highlighted on page 3 of the Standard Daily Nation. Let's check it out. Yeah, it is on page 3 of the Daily Nation, and it's just what I've mentioned. Cancer patients suffer after that is the radiotherapy gadgets they broke down. And there's a statement from that is Dr. James Nyika, National Assembly Health Committee Chairman, Alzheimer. We are in the budget process. And they're going to get some money for at least one LINAC machine. That is a statement from him, and it means that they're saying that some of the patients have already traveled out of the country to book that is long distance appointments with other hospitals, because This is something that is needed. But you know, if they don't get to act on this, it's bringing that aspect to health risk, because if they delay that his cancer treatment, it means that the disease itself is going to spread faster, and it also may reduce that is survival of the patient when it comes to life itself. And Pierre, in a letter that much aspect here, that is financial burden. So we hope that the government will act on it, just like the way they are acting on basic travel is of tuzote. This is something that is it's alarming, and it needs them to act. And still on the health sector, something that is very interesting, something that has been mentioned almost the whole of this week, that is, you know, the teachers are complaining about the SHA. And yesterday to Luliza, if someone on a day on a paycheck is complaining about the benefits that they're getting from the SHA system, it's not satisfactory, or there is a delayment of services when it comes to the SHA, what about the day-to-day person, mwananchi, who is earning from hand to mouth and still bado anahitaji kulipia SHA? What can we say about that? And now this is something from the teachers. It reads that teachers threaten strike over SHA woes. And the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers has told that the Social Health Authority management to address their members' grievances within 7 days or brace for tutors strike. Now this is this is what the teachers have given out, the statement from the teachers, and wamepeana that is a 7-day notice. If this is not going to be addressed, it is going to be there is going to be a strike. And you know, for years teachers have raised concerns about that is delayed salary adjustments, promotions, working conditions, and everything. But today want to address that is matters to do with the health sector, and that's what is on page 10. Let's head over to page 10 of the Daily Nation and check what is happening. We're on page 10, and I can see there are teachers here giving out different statements. I'm not going to read all of them, but assessment. A decision was to be made after 3 months on whether to stay under the scheme. This is something that this is a statement from one of the teachers, and in addition to that, I can see there is a statement from that is Cooper Secretary General. It goes by the name that Akelo Misore. Some of the health cover under SHA is not working at all, and it's not giving our teachers comfort, the comfort we anticipated. And so that's why they are giving out their demands that if this is not going to be addressed, they're going to strike. But you know, I'm wondering, the government had said that all public servants should be under the SHA system. Are the governors under the SHA system? You know, because I don't think I've heard them complaining. Are the MPs and the MCAs under the SHA system? Hatujaona wakienda huko hospitali, you've not seen them complaining. So what are they using? Because teachers, these are people who they're on a paycheck, and now it means that if SHA is not working, we have a problem, and it means that something needs to be done. And if the negotiation fails, as the teachers have said, this might stop that is teaching nationwide, and it's going to bring an impact that is it disrupt that is the education system. It means that millions of students across Kenya could miss classes, and pain is a risk that is national exams risk. And also I will say this is going to increase pressure on the government to work on the SHA system, and they may face pressure on matters to do with education funding, because the teachers are complaining SHA is not satisfactory, and if they are going to act on it, it means that they may need that is more finances. And so the health system has a problem, and we want to hear even our president himself addressing this. You know, yeye ndio amekuwa akiongea kuhusu SHA sana, you know, saying that SHA, the reason as why we transited from that is SHA to the that every Kenyan out there, every Kenyan citizen, they get access to the healthcare services that we have in our country. But has that been happening? And they believe that the first statement zenye walikuwa napenda siku za kwanza ni kwamba that the SHA system is affordable. Is it affordable? Really want to hear from you. What do you think about this? And if you have visited the hospital lately, what's your experience when it comes to the SHA system? Are you satisfied with what is happening? I'm here, you're supporting the teachers that something needs to be done when it comes to the SHA system. And on other stories, let's check what is happening when it comes to that is the Daily Nation, because in Lombe tutangalia pia the Daily Nation. And the Daily Nation has many stories, but there's a story that is on page 6, matters to do with finances as well, and specifically tunangalia that is remember the bottom up vision. That is what brought the hustler fund. On Hustler Fund kwa simu yako, please, if you've not paid Hustler Fund, make sure that you get to pay. That is the Hustler Fund. You know, it was launched, that is in November 2022, as a flagship project of the Kenya Kwanza government. Actually, it was part of the manifesto that they had. And the aim was to provide low interest credit, that is 8% per annum, to hustlers and small scale traders and individuals who are previously locked out of the formal banking. That's why they brought that is the Hustler Fund. And now the current situation, that is page 6 of the Standard, reads 12.5 billion Hustler Fund loans unpaid as MPs demand defaulters name. Kwa hivyo jina yako isipiano, tafadhali make sure that you get to pay. Kama uko na deni ya Hustler Fund, make sure that you get to pay. Tutaki jina yako tuipate tunaisoma kesho kwa gazeti, because it seems now the government is acting on it. And in addition to that, also there is a key figure here, 50 million, that is among the Financial Inclusion Fund Chief Executive Officer says is borrowed daily, amounting to 1.5 billion every month. 50 million is a lot daily, and ukicalculate yote at the end of the month inapatia that is 1.5 billion. And the fund CEO says 83 billion has been issued, with 50 million borrowed daily. And the National Assembly team direct the National Assembly team direct the fund to provide details of beneficiaries, that is in 14 days, so that actions will be taken. That is what we are having, that is on the Standard, that is page 6. And now, in addition to that, that is parliamentary pressure, because the National Assembly Special Funds Account Committee is leading charge, and they are refusing to accept that is the general statistics, and they are now demanding the detailed listings, telephone numbers, and amount owned by every defaulter, categorized by every constituency. And this is kind of alarming. And pia ukiangalia MPs, when it comes to the audit, the MPs are questioning the management of the fund, citing lack of risk assessment and the fact that money was not insured against such high default rises. And this is something that is happening when it comes to the Hustler Fund. And I'm sure probably, let's say 85 or 90% of Kenyans, another mekuwa involved na that is Hustler Fund. So being urged to make sure that you get to pay. That is, kama uko na deni ya Hustler Fund, tafadhali lipa. Na kama hujalipa, mbona hujalipa? Is the economy hard? And probably that's not the reason as so you have not paid that is Hustler Fund. Please get to talk to us on 0799 200 100, and we're glad to hear from you. But ukiangalia the impact and when it comes to that is the recovery tactics that the government is using and the law enforcement itself, I don't want to say it's aggressive, but it sounds so, because there are decisions about bearing defaulters from the government services such as the Social Health Authority or other state-backed credit facilities. And ukiangalia when it comes to that is sustainability at risk, it means because the fund is meant to be revolving a fund that is the 12.5 billion loss, means that there is less money available for new borrowers, threatening the entire program's survival. So hatutaki kusikia, you know, if this happens, it means that Hustler Fund inaweza isha, which might not be a good thing, and it was part that is a bottom-up vision to lift every Kenyan out there, and so people are being asked to pay that is Hustler Fund. And on other stories, something that is affecting many Kenyan citizens out there matters to do with flood. Unajua ni season ya mvua. That is page 7 of the Daily Nation, of the Standard, sorry. It reads that raging floods bring death and displacement of Kenyan citizens. Up to 3 people have so far been confirmed dead, and hundreds displaced because of the floods that we're experiencing that is in our country. And we have seen tragedies happening in different places. To learn there's a tragedy that happened that is in NURU and other different places. Even in Masai Mara, to learn there's something that is happened, there. And Pia, the weatherman warns of that is heavier rains countrywide in the coming days. So tumeona that is the Red Cross wamekuja and they have helped several citizens out there, but the government need to act on this. Don't forget that it is last year January we experienced that is such kind of situation, and the government walikuwa set aside some finances when it comes to such kind of emergency matters, that is drought and floods. But I don't understand why we have not seen these finances being spent where they're supposed to be spent on such kind of matters. Walisema wameshaeka pesa kando, and they said that they're going to allocate it even when it comes to the budget itself. But when they using that money and peer on these different places, what are the leaders doing? Are they doing enough? Because I believe that part of the revolution is to make sure that every Kenyan citizen in that county gets to have that is a better life. So we pray and hope that something will be done about it. And tumeona kumekuwa that is urban flooding in places like Nairobi. This is what has been mentioned here, and imeleta disruption when it comes to businesses and pia those who are living that is kwenye kuna lakes, places like Victoria, they've been affected a lot, and this is not a good thing because it's bringing a great impact when it comes to Kenyan citizen. Kumekuwa na that is loss of life. Nimesema experience that is 3 deaths of Kenyan citizens. Kumekuwa na displacement of hundreds of families have been displaced. That is in the South Rift, the Western, and in the coastal region. And the statement that I can see at the Red Cross are giving out, it estimates that nearly 350 households are already in need of an emergency shelter. So when they say emergency, it means that there is something that is needed, and pin a letter that is a localized crisis in places that are like Murang'a. And we have seen that in places like Murang'a, some of the people have been forced to walk in flood waters due to drainage systems that have not yet been upgraded in over 15 years. So we don't know when it comes to these drainage systems. We don't want to put the blame on the leaders in that place, but something needs to be done that Kenyan citizens will have a better life. And in addition to that, as we talk about floods, still, that is page 10 of the Standard. They have highlighted that is experts call for a lasting solution to endless cycle of hunger up in the north. And their key figures that they have given out here. And as I asked, why mbona hizi pesa hazitumiki? When it comes to that is the northern counties funding in the year 2013-2025, we had that is 424.3 billion, and there is a breakdown that has been given here by every county. Mandera, they're supposed to be given that is 119.4 billion, Wajir 99.4 billion, Garissa 81.6 billion, Marsabit 77.2 billion, and then you have that is Isiolo 46.8 billion. And now we have that is equalization fund that is from 2013 to 2020. The total that has been disbursed is 4.072 billion, and then they've given us what I've read is what they were supposed to receive. And then here we have that is Mandera 958 million, Marsabit 831 million, Wajir 825 million. Then we have that is Garissa 768 million, Isiolo 690 million. So ukiangalia zote, there is a decrease of what they're supposed to receive. Whatever they are received is not what they're supposed to receive, and probably we are experiencing what you're experiencing because of, there is a shortage of finances. So we have something be done about it, because the data shows 3.3 million Kenyan citizens in the northern counties are facing acute food insecurity in the places that I've read, that is Mandera, Wajir, Kwale and Kilifi area. We have different stories that have been lighted here of the Kenyans, of those people. Tuko na picha za watoto hapa, kuna mifugo, imekufa. We have different stories that have been highlighted here. I'm not going to read all of them, but they're sad stories, and the government need to act. As I said, this is something that was in the budget, and it means hii pesa inafaa kufikia that is the right people. And in addition to that, let's check out that is on this Daily Nation. I think I saw politics somewhere, because each and every day when it comes to politics, politicians they never they always have something for us, and that is kuna politics, page 6 of the Daily Nation, and page 7 kuna that is the story of ODM party, and these different stories matters to do with the interim leader. We have that is Wanga, and the Daily Nation reads that hardball, the decision to limit the agenda was made on Wednesday by ODM's National Executive Committee, and the controversy aide insists that ODM boss intended to endorse President William Ruto's re-election bid coming, that is 2027. All right, and in addition to that, the stories, the different statements from different people on how they believe Baba would have wanted things to be done when it comes to the ODM party, comparing with what is happening right now. And Oburu camp rolls out election at the NDC. A rival wing led by Senator Sifuna has threatened not to participate in the conviction. Why? Is it because the president is involved? Is it because they believe this is a betrayal to the ODM party? Or is it because they have different ideologies on how things are supposed to be run, but whatever the interim leader is doing is not what they have been experiencing during the leadership of Baba? Which is which? Please get to interact with us and give us your comment. We'll be so happy to hear from you. And in addition to that, so that you can understand what this conviction is supposed to to do. A fresh political storm has erupted in the ODM party after it emerged that no competitive election of national officials will take place during planned March 27 Special National Delegates Convention, that is the NDC. Instead, the convention led by the party leader Oburu Odinga is said to focus solely on confirmation of the interim officials by the delegates. And delegates sources say the party plans another NDC tentatively in December or early 2027 to consider the agenda items, including possible endorsement of pre-election coalitions with President William Ruto and the UDA, United Democratic Alliance. And the decision to limit the agenda was made on Wednesday by the ODM National Executive Committee, seen as a part of Dr. Odinga's strategy to consolidate power and to avoid that is acrimonious fallout. So what is happening? Because there is another statement that says, however, a rival camp led by that is the Secretary General Edwin Sifuna and the co-deputy party leader Godfrey Osotsi, James Orengo, and Embakasi East MP Babu Owino. Now these are people who are part of the movement that is called Linda Mwananchi, has threatened not to participate unless national positions are open. All national positions are open for competitive election. And the group so wants the list of the delegates published before the convention and had questioned the legality of the NDC, citing incomplete grassroots elections, particularly in Nairobi and Kisumu County. So this is what is happening when it comes to the ODM party, and we don't know if Tuliona that is these people who are part of the Linda Mwananchi. They say that it is not a party, but is there a possibility that it might end up to be registered as a party because of what is happening? Because it feels like the party, they have already splitted. These are different people who, there are many people in the party who don't agree with that is the interim leader of the party, especially when it comes to being endorsed with the president when it comes to the re-election bid coming 2027. What do you think about what is happening in the ODM party? Is there a possibility of them rising again and building a strong foundation of being a strong opposition party? Ama tutasema this is the end of ODM party, because still they have not gained stability since the death of Baba. And tunakaribia that is the election party. Still they are not sure if they want that is the DP seat or they want to be part of the election itself. Well, that is what we had to check out today on what is happening when it comes to the state of our country. And we're always here every morning to make sure that you stay updated of what is happening. But we're not done. We're going for a short break. Then we'll be right back with Beyond the Headlines with Mr. Kemodo. So make sure that you stay tuned. And also you get to interact with us. And what do you think about the state of our country? That is on 0799 200 100. So glad to hear from you. Stay tuned.